We'll have to play with that another day.
Welcome, people, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hans, and this is What's Your Story. It sounds a wee bit cheesy, doesn't it? And this is What's Your Story. Sounds like a newsreader. Look, my name's Hans. Over there's Mike, or this way, depending on which way we're looking. And today I'm going to have a chat with Michael just about life in general, about the hardships that we go through sometimes, and however, when there's hardships, there's always success on the other side. So we are about to chat about all of that. What's your story? I can never do an intro. I just like, whatever. People will watch it if they watch it. If they don't, they don't. But anyway, right. That's all I do. Right. I'll drink my Milo to that. Milo, it's hot chocolate in New Zealand. I'm from New Zealand. Oh yeah, by the way. Mike, go.
I'm from America.
America. Yes. So Mike, tell us about yourself. What's been going on in the States? Like, obviously, for those of who won't know, Mike and I have known each other for a couple of moons, haven't we? Gee, it's nearly coming up a year.
We're coming up on a year.
I know. I'm excited about that. Damn, it's awesome. And that's purely through social media.
Sure.
We met at the start of the year, and yeah,
met on some periscopage. That was awesome. I was doing a periscope going down to Vegas with some friends, and Hans jumped in because he was apparently bored in New Zealand and wanted to see what happened with randoms driving to Las Vegas. And he followed like our entire trip, and yeah, we've been friends ever since, and actually got his scruffy bum over here and right around New Year's. Good times.
It was great fun, and it's funny how you say there's nothing to do in New Zealand. Not there is nothing to do in New Zealand. It was more about, just so the viewers and the listeners know, it was more surrounding that I saw this dot. I was new to Periscope. I saw this dot in the middle of, and what turned out to be Utah, of course, and heading in a southerly direction. I'm like, oh, cool. It was like everyone else is in the big cities, all the broadcasts. So I'm like, I'll go to that one. That'll be interesting. And friendship forever after. Oh, isn't that fluffy?
It was awesome.
Right, so Mike, what do you do with yourself? Obviously, I know, but this is for repurposed options. What do you do with yourself? Tell us about you, because that's what we're all about. That's what the show's about.
I'm an alcoholic. No, just kidding.
Actually, side note.
Wrong meeting.
Hey. You like how I did that? Sorry. Hi, my name's Marshall, and I'm an alcoholic. Yeah. Anyway, right.
No,
where you going?
I've done a lot over the years. Right now, I own a company that manages events and concerts and festivals and those types of things. We're trying to build that up off the ground. And in the past, my background is very much sales and marketing and social media marketing and those types of things throughout the various companies. I've done freelance stuff, kind of done that whole realm of things, but it just wasn't really doing it for me. Music has always been my passion, and I wanted to find some way to stick with that. I mean, I write my own music and all those types of things, but none of that really goes anywhere specific, honestly. Granted, I haven't really tried that hard on that front, but me making music is more for myself, but I wanted to stick with something musical, and then I'm really good at multitasking and being organized under pressure and doing things that are chaotic. And I was like, I know, I'll try to organize festivals because that takes a ton of work. So I did. So we did the first one over the past year out here in Salt Lake City, which is where I'm from, which was good. It was, there's a lot of things we did wrong, but there's a lot of things we did right as well. And now we're planning the next one out in Knoxville, Tennessee for next year, and then redoing Salt Lake again. And yeah, the concept that rather than just being like a concert promoter, we started out that way, but as we got rolling, we decided that we didn't want it to be just a concert. And because anybody can do that. Anybody can just have some money and go buy a band and put on a show. Like, that's the easy part. But to have some type of underlying message was where we started to realize we wanted to be focused on, which is how we came up with Make It Louder, which Make It Louder stands for two things, obviously loud music, but then also it stands for making a cause or helping the community be louder, saying something loudly that actually matters. And then the tagline for that is Concert Community Cause. And so we wanted to focus on each local community, because really where anything starts is in your hometown or even in your house with you personally. That's where real change happens. And then if you unite enough voices behind that, then it starts to build and eventually everybody hears you. And then, the concert part is obvious. It's just something fun to add into it to make it a little bit more unique. And then the cause is whatever charity we work with in that local community. So basically just trying to push things positively forward.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, boy.
That's me.
That's you. Right. Show's done. Yeah. So let's have a catch up.
Boom.
I'm done. Nice. So let's go. Part of the show is talking about your story, more it's kind of about who you are as a person, because obviously, everyone's on social media nowadays and they want to get to know everybody. That's why they're on there. But yet they don't want to know about people. So as far as going back, people hear about different stories. And what are some of the hardships that you grew up as a child? Oh, the big questions. Some of the difficult times that you went through. As a youngster, it doesn't have to be a child. You can be a teenager. You can be whatever.
Well, God, this gets into some deep stuff.
Hey, you don't have to go deep, buddy. You can just go at your own.
No, I grew up in a great household. Like, my mom and my dad they made their money. They always took care of us. There's no problems. I grew up in a very Mormon household, LDS, and so that posed its own issues once I started getting out of the house. Really, hardships for me started to come after I got off my mission, when I was out on my own, because my parents kind of bailed. They just left, so I've done everything on my own since I was 21, and just had to figure things out and do what I could to really make things happen for myself. And I'm still figuring that out, honestly. Like, I still haven't gotten everything figured out. But it made it a lot more difficult within dating, within work, within all kinds of stuff, to not be able to turn to my mom or my dad, mostly because of religion. They were not a fan of the fact that I didn't do the church thing. But I told them I wasn't going to go back just based on what they wanted me to do. Like, I think spirituality and religion and church and those types of things are very personal, and that's why you should go. So I didn't. I stopped, and they didn't like that, and so I basically just kind of had to deal with everything on my own. And you look at friends and things like that they're like, oh, this sucks so bad. Like, I'm not making enough money. I have to go back and live with my parents. And they're complaining about that, and every time it would always strike a chord for me, because I just sit there and be like, at least you have your parents to go back home to, you punk kid. Like, seriously, like, I can't. That's not even an option for me. Like, if I don't have a place to stay, or like somebody's not willing to let me stay with them, then I'm literally out on my ass. Like, I don't have the ability to go back to my parents, even if I wanted to. So that was difficult, and then, it's just been a constant battle for myself personally, of finding something that I like to do and really sticking with that. I have really bad ADD on a lot of levels, and so I sit there and I'm just kind of, let's do this and let's do that and let's do that. Ooh, that looks fun, shiny object. What? And so I don't know. Like, now that I found this, the festival stuff, that definitely has started to make more sense than anything. But even that comes with its own trials and difficulties. It's not like people just are willing to throw hundreds of thousands of dollars into these types of shows to make them happen, and I sure don't have six-figure income levels right now, so it's just a matter of balancing needs and trying to make everything work the way that it's supposed to. So
Nice. So I actually knew that already, but that's for the viewers, because people who watch these shows that I do are kind of, they they connect with people on different levels and different stages. Obviously there are people that have had crazy lives and people that don't have such crazy lives or have had crazy lives. But there's a broad spectrum of everybody who's having stories nowadays that people still want to know. People want to know about, Mikey is pink. How did that come about? What's this Mikey is the pink shirt? People are like, why are you wearing a pink shirt?
Well, I'm sure it's gotten to the point now where nobody really questions if I wear a pink shirt. It's more they just question why like the company is named after that and why all my social media is named after that, because they're like, are you just obsessed with pink or what's going on? Really where that came from about 6 years ago, 7 almost. I started in on the concert stuff, and the way that happened was I was working at a nightclub and started working with a guy there who would come in and bring certain artists into the nightclub, and because I was a manager, I'd get him VIP tables for the artists that he would bring in. And so we developed this relationship, and he eventually saw my event management skills and was like, hey, do you want to come work with me? So I said, sure, why not? So I went and started doing this basic stuff with him, which caught the attention of my girlfriend at the time's friend, and her friend is the manager of the radio stations here in Salt Lake City. It was Jory. I was dating Jory at the time. So Jory's friend, Jake, was the one that kind of got me into some of this stuff. So he asked me to come help with some of their radio station festivals, which were much bigger. And the first one that I worked, I was just doing like random running and kind of walking around and helping people do odds and ends. Like I didn't really have a specific job. I was just there to help make things happen where I could. And so I wore not this one, but I wore a very bright pink shirt at the time because I wasn't supposed to be backstage. Usually when you're on stage, you wear a black shirt. But I didn't really think I was going to be up there. And about a couple hours into the day, Jake came up to me and asked me if I could run a stage because I had musical equipment experience, and he said that the stage manager that they had initially freaked out because of the pressure and how quickly things were moving, and so he needed somebody that could step in. I said, sure, I can do that. And so literally I jumped in and just started managing the schedules and talking to all the tour managers and agents and the artists themselves, making them have what they needed and basically making the show run. And throughout the day, it became a thing where rather than sending people to the stage, because everybody has to go through me as far as the artist goes, they had to go through the stage manager in order to find out, what equipment is needed, what timing, all that, those sorts of things, if there's delays. So literally I have to talk to everybody at least once. So rather than saying, go find Mike, he's the stage manager, people started saying, go find the guy in the pink shirt. And because I was the only one backstage, I was wearing like this neon pink shirt. And so I said, okay, cool. So I had people coming up to me and being like, oh, you're Mike, right? You're the guy in the pink shirt. And I'm like, apparently, sure. I guess I am. But the funny part is it stuck. Like over the years that I've done this, I've had tour managers, I've had agents, I've had artists, I've had singers and guitarists, and even people just around town in Salt Lake City that will see me working a show or will work with me if they're an artist, and will come back again a couple years later. And I've had bands that will literally be on stage for a concert that I've paid for, and they'll be like, oh, Mike, because I'll be wearing a pink shirt in the crowd, and they'll be like, oh my God, how are you? And everybody in the crowd turns around like, oh, how do you know them? And I'm like, yeah, I know, kind of a big deal. But yeah, it was really random, but it just kind of worked. And so throughout the process, I was always like, how can I brand this? How can I, like, people already know me as the guy in the pink shirt, so I should probably do something with this. So I started it as like a blog for a minute, and then again, my ADD kicked in, and I turned into like maybe 2 entries, and then I slacked off. And then I wanted it to be a marketing company, and then again slacked off. Like there was all sorts of ideas, but when we started doing the festival stuff, we needed a legal entity to do it under, and I said, well, shoot, let's just do it as Guy in the Pink Shirt Productions. And everybody that I talked to, when we were doing this last one, whenever we chatted about like where the check was written or where the contract needed to be assigned to and that kind of stuff, and I was like, make it out to Guy in the Pink Shirt Productions. They would just kind of snap up and look at me like, And what now? You don't think that's a bit much? So yeah, that's where the pink shirt came from.
I love it when there's always these things, further down the track, people are going to go, so how did you come up with that idea? And you're like, well, here's the story behind it, so now we all know the story as to how it came to be Mikey is pink and on your Twitter handle, or why you wear a pink shirt, at different concerts and venues and whatnot.
I wanted the Twitter handle to be Guy in the Pink Shirt as well, but you can only have so many characters, so.
That's true, you can. Very true. So what are your ventures now? I mean, I know you've just done like you mentioned earlier on, that you've done a festival or concert. So what was your idea surrounding the concert? Because it was originally a concert, and then you went out and from what I understand, you did it for Zippo, and it was just it's code for free in New Zealand. Not the lighter.
Yeah, not the letter.
Yeah. So how did that come about? I mean, without going too deep. So you've gone from, creating a festival for yourself, and then you're like, oh, look, there's a good cause in here. So now you're doing it in another city as well.
Yeah, we are. So. Let's see. We can break this into a couple parts. So the way it started was there's another nonprofit that we're building that's called Weathered Pages, and that's about basically taking artists that don't have the ability to jump in and record music, and like they have talent, they're bright, talented stars, and we want to take them and basically give them like a grant and help them to tour and record music and basically give them a way to express their story through music. And so we've been kind of going through that, and we decided back before Make It Louder was even really conceptualized that maybe we should do something like a concert at some point to help raise money for that. And so as we kind of rolled it around, eventually it became just, again, very randomly, it was a situation where somebody came and said, why aren't you doing this by yourself? And I said, do you have six figures? Because I don't. And he came back to me with somebody that does, and we started rolling these ideas around. So initially it did start out as a concert to where we could take artists that we work with in our recording and put them on the undercard of the bill. And that way we could get the music out from some of these local artists and whatnot. And then as we moved through it, we started to realize that we needed something different. And some of that came from another concert here that's run through the radio station. I used to work with it. It's called Big Ass Show. And they've been going for 21 years after this season. And I had talked to them beforehand, and they said that they wanted to do their show at the end of August. And so I said, great, I'll do mine in May, and then you guys can help me on this one, and then I'll help you with Big Ass Show this year. And they said, great, that sounds awesome. So that was the initial plan. Well, eventually, come about February, they decided to do it the week before my show. And I went, I can't compete with that. Like, you guys are going to have 10,000 people there. Like, I don't have the power to market against you. Like, you have way more resources than I do. And so over that next few days was when we decided to switch it from just a concert to, we had to figure out something that made us unique. We had to figure out something that we really wanted to say. And that's where the concert community cause part came from, as far as pushing something that had a message behind it. And even leading up to it, the real reason we decided to go free is because we were struggling with ticket sales. I mean, we had a $30 ticket, and there just wasn't that many people buying it. So we decided from that standpoint that we should change it to free just to get bodies through the door. But it also, once we started talking about doing it for free, it fit the message of what we were trying to do. And so we basically said, you know what, we're going to put our money where our mouths are, and we're going to give you this show for free, and we're going to have, let you guys have fun, because we actually believe in the city, in the community, and we want to show you guys that we're behind it no matter what. Which went over well. I mean, we could have had a better turnout, but it wasn't the worst thing in the universe, and it definitely was a good start for where we want to go. But the goal with this is also to move it to different communities. So what we want to do is take it to cities that are smaller, not the big cities that get all the concerts and all the cool stuff so that we just get lost in the fray, but those cities that have a very tight-knit community feel and have something to say, and that we can bring something to them that they actually get excited about. So Knoxville is next, and we went out this past weekend to Tennessee and met with some key people there, and they're all very excited about it. And then after that, the following year, we'll have Dayton, Ohio. And then the year after that, we'll do probably Boise, Idaho. And then as of 2020, we'll have probably Asbury Park, New Jersey involved. So we've got a plan to roll it out. And it's basically adding a city each year. So, this year was just Salt Lake. Next year will be Salt Lake and Knoxville. The following year will be Salt Lake, Knoxville, and Dayton, and so on and so forth. So a little bit of a different concept where we're not trying to make a ton of money, and that's what we told people when we went and met with them in Knoxville. Basically, the pitch to them was we want the local economy to thrive from this type of a show. We want the local vendors and artists and people that don't get noticed to get a lot of attention. And then we want the cause to get a good chunk of the money. Obviously, we have to make some money too to keep the company running and to make sure that we can move into the next show. But overall, we're not trying to it's not about us making as much money as we can as the guy in the pink shirt. It's about everybody winning. Like, if we can all figure out a way to symbiotically work together, then that's what we really ultimately want to achieve. So, yeah.
Nice. I like the idea of, because I mean, look, I can only speak from New Zealand, from a New Zealand point of view, Auckland gets all the concerts because it's the biggest population. There's more people there than there is everywhere else in the country, blah, 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 blah. But, you always come up, you always get these local people that are like, oh, why don't they bring a concert here, the same concert? So having the idea, like, obviously America's big enough to be able to do that, where you can have start one and just basically connect the dots as you go on every year. I like that idea. Yeah, I endorse that idea.
Someday we'll bring it down to New Zealand. Once we get there within the next 5 years or so, and we've got the ability to do it, I'll just bring it down there.
Stop that.
By then you'll be like a giant famous lab personality.
That personality. Yeah, hilarious. Hey, I do send out an email to all the basically about having some extra items, because sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But I'd like to know what you have as your extra item. Bring an item.
Extra item?
Yeah, I know you're just going to make it up. I mean, people make it up all the time, but I want to know what you have.
I gotta remember what the extra item was. I haven't looked at the email for a minute.
all you had to do was bring along three. There was 3 items. Bring one along, just in case we get to that point where no one is talking. With that awkward. I mean, it's not going to happen, but I was quite curious as to what you would bring. I was thinking maybe you'd bring my Superman hat that I left there.
Oh yeah, that's right. I almost wore it. I almost put it on.
That's all good. You don't have to.
The big three.
Are you reading your email?
I'm looking at. I pulled it up because I was like, I know I'm going to forget something. I know I'm going to forget something like an idiot.
Look, I just when I'm doing these things, I just kind of go off the cuff and just feel the flow of whatever's going on. So it was no real biggie. You don't have. It's not. I don't really stick to any sort of agenda other than telling a part of your story and how you've moved on from the hurts, blah blah blah, and on to the successes, which you have. Stop! You gonna sing me a song?
Hey, that can be one of my items. It's my guitar.
Guitar. Can you play the guitar, or is that your flatmate?
No, it's just. I mean, I don't really play that well, but no, it's mine. I've played since. Did I not play when you were here?
Yeah, you did, but this is for the viewers.
No.
Yes, you did.
Well, early in the morning, I woke up to my bed. I sing country.
Do you? You do not.
No.
Like, hang on. That's not right.
No,
Good. That's a good time. We'll just tick that bad boy off. Good. Hey, I am always aware of my guests' time, just for purposes of the day and stuff like that. So, but I do have a wee. Do you guys use the term wee over there?
like a small,
yeah,
we.
small. Yeah,
Like,
wee.
We.
I look French term. A game. A game. And I call it 9 and 10. Some people call it a 10-second game. I call it 9 and 10. So I'll give you a topic. I'll just bring up my my timer as we go. I'll give you a topic. You have 10 seconds to give me 9 answers.
Okay.
Hey. So I'll give you the topic, and the topic is going to be, and then I'll push the start button. All right, and you got to give me 9. All right.
What do I win?
What do you win? You get to see me in August. That's a great prize. All right. So the topic is going to be. Sometimes I make them up, but I'm pretty confident. I have to know the answers as well as myself, in case you just might waffle off something. So I'm going to say, name 10
Wait.
Ready? I got to ready. And you hear a dang. Okay. Name 10 fruit.
Apple, banana, kiwi, grapes, oranges, papaya, mango, cherries, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries.
Time up. Yeah, I think maybe that was too easy, but you passed.
Yes. Well, it's mostly because I've got like 8 of them in this drink, so.
Oh, I didn't really think of that. Dang. Maybe we should do a second one. Are you ready? Name 10 orange fruits. Ready, go.
Oranges. Mango.
Time up. Yeah.
Kumquats.
What? That's brilliant. So, yeah, that's what I do.
Damn it. 10
that's what
orange
I do.
fruit. The hell?
10 orange fruits. And I just make stuff up as we go along. But that's awesome. So, look, we'll shut we'll shut it down there. However, we'll continue off, and we'll go from there. So, Mike, thank you very much for being a part of my show. It's been a pleasure because I kind of keep it nice and tight. And do you have a quote? Now, there's a quote on the banner. Now, probably unless you've got like 60/60 vision, because you've shown me like a zillion characters. I had to squeeze it all in. Do you have what is that quote?
I get a daily quote of the day type of a thing. Mm-hmm. And so the quote is, true character is revealed in the choices a human being makes under pressure. The greater the pressure, the deeper the revelation, the truer the choice to the character's essential nature. That's from a guy named Robert McKee. And most of the quotes in that daily app they're kind of cheesy. They're just, your typical like believe in yourself and good things will happen type crap, which, those are all good and they matter, but I like the stuff that really speaks a little bit deeper than that. And so hearing that, when I read that one, I was like, oh man, that's really true. Like you think about diamonds or how that stuff's made, and the great things come from high pressure scenarios, and usually the best is brought out of somebody when there is pressure around that. And it really does show the true character of a person, because when you're under that level of pressure on whatever it is, you don't have time to fake it. You don't have time to, and I think that's what I love about festival type stuff and some of these event planning and management situations is it's not about like, how can I fake this? How can I come up with a sales pitch that might have like 80% truth and 20% of it is just me BSing to get you to buy my product and all that kind of stuff. It's just very raw, 120% real. Like, it's honest. You just react in the moment, and you can tell a lot about a person when they are under pressure. And the people that are under pressure that handle it well are the ones that are as successful as they are. So I saw it and it resonated, and so I saved it and hung on to it, and then I gave it to you.
Thanks, buddy. Take up half my burner. Awesome. Right. So thank you muchly. That is the end of my show, and I thank you all for tuning in, wherever you may be tuning in from. Done. See you next time. See you next week. Take it easy, rubber sneezies.
You better show up, Hans. If you don't show up next week, I'll be very sad.
Better show up. Right. So we'll just do a crazy sign-off face as we go.